G'day folks, just got back from a pretty good pig shoot up at Wilcannia in Outback, New South Wales, and so I've got a bit of footage on my GoPro camera on the front of my motorcycle. So I've decided to put together a bit of that footage, but I'll just give you a bit of a rundown on how I hunt and how this trip actually went. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about is how I hunt pigs and what I would consider to be the best way and the most successful form of hunting I've had when it comes to hunting pigs in Australia. I mean, it may be different for other people in different parts of the country and also different terrain, but the terrain I was on and a lot of the terrain I go to is like semi-arid desert, so I prefer a two-wheeler motorcycle, or a four-wheeler can work as well. But I got the Suzuki DR 200, which is it's an ag bike, so it's not really high, and I prefer this bike for a particular reason, because when I'm chasing the pigs, what I like to do is to be able to have both feet on the ground. So when you're flying up the pigs, come across a mob of pigs, and you start taking off and chasing them, if you can keep your feet on the ground, what can happen is when you see them in front of you, you can flick those things off the gun, pull it out, and you're still on the bike, and it gives you a lot quicker chance to sort of get the mob as they're taken off. Now I'll just talk to you a little bit about these, the gun rack, I suppose you would call them, the gun holder I have on the handlebars. These things are probably one of my favourite brand of these. They come in there's different brands around, but these particular ones, I haven't seen them around for a few years. These ones are bendable, so you put a bit of a wire on them. They come with an elastic, but it tends to always break, or you go to pull it off when you're chasing pigs and it'll ping across the paddock and it's the last you ever see of it. So I just put a bit of wire across. That's just to lock in while I'm chasing pigs. When I come across them, I'll flick these wire things off and the gun's ready to go. Now the reason I prefer a motorcycle is because it's a little quicker, it's a little, it's more agile going through the bush that we go through along the river banks where there's trees and stuff and everything falling down. I just prefer the bike for that reason. Now the gun that I've got here, these are pretty rare in Australia compared to like bolt actions and lever action and everything. Semi-autos are hard to get, and I do have a contract shooting business, which isn't the contract as in killing people, it's just in shooting vermin and wild pests. So to get the only way you can get semi-autos in Australia is with a contract shooting licence, and there is some farmers in some states that can get them as well. Now what I've chosen for this for shooting pigs is the SKK, or the SKS with the 30-shot detachable mag. I prefer this gun for a couple of reasons. It's got 30 shots, which when you come across a mob of say 50 pigs, you don't have to reload as much. Carry 2 mags on you and you're generally pretty right. There is another version which I've got back there, which is the 10 shot. I've got the Russian version over there. That's also a good gun, but I do find it's very limited with only the 10 rounds. The pigs aren't that thick, they're still good to use, but they're just, if you've got the speed clips, it's pretty good to load those. Now with this SKS, the reason I have sort of set this gun up this way, I've got this the synthetic stock which I bought from Cleveland Firearms in Queensland. They're only about, I think in the States they're like 60 bucks, or about 100 bucks in Australia, but these are good, they're cheap, you can knock them around, you can scratch them, doesn't really matter, you just buy another one when it breaks, if it breaks. But the pistol grip does give me greater control over the firearm. You sort of going pretty quick. I like this calibre, it's 7.62 by 39, which is the AK calibre, but it's good for pigs. It's about the same velocity, I guess, as a 30-30, and it doesn't kick too hard, like you can do pretty good shots without in quick succession, and it doesn't throw the gun around too much. It's hard enough to hit the pigs and knock them over. It's got a nice fat head, it's got a 308 head on it, so they're a good calibre. I recommend probably the SKS, particularly in Australia, because they're so common compared to other semi-autos. They're not common compared to other guns, but there's a lot more SKSs in Australia than probably any other semi-auto firearm. A few years before I got the D class, I suppose my main gun I used was the 30-30, so I had this 30-30 lever action Winchester. This is a pretty good gun, especially a scrub gun if you're walking, if you're not on bikes and everything. This is a great gun to use. It's quick, not as quick as a semi-auto, and you don't have the magazine capacity. You've got to keep reloading it, but they're pretty good. The other thing that came out into Australia after 96 was became real popular, was the pump action centerfire. Now this one here is a 7615, which is in 223. I probably use this a lot at night for spotlighting. We do a lot of spotlighting in Australia too, eradicating foxes, and under permit we sometimes take kangaroos, goats, This gun's pretty good. I mean, 223 is good when it comes to pigs. You can definitely use a 223, and I'd recommend one of these. If you can get a contract shooting license, even if you don't get semi-autos, under the contract shooting legislation, you can have a high capacity mag. So if you want to get high capacity mags for B class, just put down your reason for using the B class is for contract shooting, and you can get the extension mag, so you can get the high mag capacity. I don't like taking that gun on the motorbike also because they do get knocked around. As much as I like those racks on the bike, they do tend to knock the guns around a bit, so you've got to have a gun that's they're not precious about. Another pretty cool gun we got in Australia is the IAC. This is an IAC lever action shotgun. There's another brand, this is the cheaper of the two brands, there's another brand called a Chipper, and there's a more expensive one which is of course is the original Winchester, which I've never even seen an original Winchester lever action, but they are around. This is a copy of the Winchester. I think it's 1987, I think it is, 1887, yeah, that's the model of this. Now these, like I said, this is the IAC. I don't think it's the greatest of guns. I think you need to do a little bit of aftermarket work on these. Very, very chunky, very hard to use in the sense it's just, they're so tight, they're hard to lever. When you eject the bullets, even though it says 2 3/4 on here, you've got to get the right shells because they won't eject properly. And the choke on this thing, I'm not also really particularly happy with how much spread you get on the shotgun. I haven't had a lot of success with these in shooting pigs, but I know other people who do, and they put a choke in it and they get it sort of machined and worked inside, they get it polished, and it seems to work a lot better. I've seen one guy actually in cowboy action shooting with one of those, and he did a great job of it. He sent it off to America and had it redone, and he did a good job out of that. The other thing I prefer to use, if I'm going to use a shotgun with a D class, I can have this Bentley here. This Bentley 8-shot pump action is really good too with SGs. I use that a lot of the time, and this also has been knocked around a bit because that's been sitting on my handlebars. You can see the rub marks here and back here. They'll just sit in there and rub on the bike, but it is good too. The same thing, you've only got 8 shots, but a great gun. And that's the old SKS there. Up here I've got the L1A1 Sporter. I'm in the process of registering that onto my D-class licence, so I've got to talk to the Firearms Registry about the availability of using that in 308. That'll be probably my next favourite gun once I get that up and running. I probably won't use it on the motorcycle. I'll probably take a little bit more care of that because I'm never going to get another one, so they're pretty rare here in Australia. Okay, other than that, once you've got all that, you've got your knife, you're pretty well right to go. You get on your bike. One other thing I say about the bike, if you can, which makes it considerably better, is try and get a bike with an electric start. This electric start, the battery went flat the other day because I left the light on this, so I'm not going to electric start it, but having electric start does make it a lot quicker as well when you're out in the scrub. Alright, so basically then you're ready to go. And your hat, your glasses, and the earmuffs. Now I will say one thing about this form of hunting. It's my preferred form of hunting. I know there's other great ways. Dogging is a great way. Walk and stalk's a great way. Spotlighting is a great way. But I've had the most success out of this. And I'll show you how to do it. We'll just get out there, you get on, turn your key on, give her a bit of a kick.